Hey guys, Charlie Morgan. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to build insane offers. And by insane, I mean offers that are so good that people literally can't turn them down. I'm going to walk you through the framework that I've used to build offers. Using this framework, right? I have nothing to sell you, by the way, right? There's no 997 course or case study or free training or webinar or bullshit like that. I just want to help you because I built 2 companies using this model framework, right, for offer creation. NorthFlow Consulting was a marketing agency that I sold after scaling to 7 figures. And Imperium Agency is a multi-7-figure coaching business that I currently running around 200, 300K a month in revenue. And we have built offers that are bloody insane. And today, I didn't want to make this video. I wasn't going to because I think that it's so powerful that it might flood the market with all these ideas, but I've actually done it in a really clever way where I'm walking you through a framework. I'm not giving you a bloody offer, right? I'm not going to give you exactly what to say or how to say it, because if I do that, then you're going to be a monkey see, monkey do idiot that just copy and paste things and you won't get results. Not that you're an idiot, but my point is that I want to teach you to think instead of just giving you things. You know, teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. So I've got a loom. I'm going to cut the clip in. It's about 20 minutes long. If you struggle with attention span and you can't watch a video for more than 5 seconds without clicking off, you're going to struggle to grow a business regardless. So I promise you, if you watch this for the next 20 minutes, your life will change and your eyes will completely open up to everything that's possible in business. I even give you an example of an offer that I'm toying with for one of my businesses as well. And a tangible, concrete example you can see for something I might be working on in my company. Really exciting stuff on the way, just so that you actually have an idea to put it against. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it because I get quite, in case you can't tell, excited when it comes to offers and shit like that. So have an amazing day, and I'm going to cut the clip in now. Cheers.
All right, it's just a quick one, right? So when I'm creating an offer, and I'm going to use the lens of a coaching business because that's what I've created an offer for recently. I have a very specific way of creating offers, right? And a very, very unique way of doing it and seeing it. And as a metaphor, I'm going to show you. And if you apply this to your business and you create an offer and craft an offer through this methodology, business will get so much fucking easier for you. You won't even believe it. So people think that, right, the first thing is that your offer, right, is not in full capital letters, it's not your service, right? And also your offer is not your guarantee. I cannot stress this enough, right? You're technically you're offering a service, you're offering a guarantee, but that's not what you're actually offering. Your offer is this it's the sales argument that encapsulates the entity of growth that is your business. Oh, that was poorly worded. It's the sales argument that encapsulates the growth experience as a result of your product, right? Specifically for marketing or for coaching. So this is the first thing. Get it through your head. Your offer is not your service and your offer is not your guarantee. Your service and your guarantee are components of your offer, but we're missing a very key thing. So what I'm going to do is draw you something and you're going to wonder what the hell I'm drawing, but bear with me, right? So I'm going to draw this, right? And then I'm going to draw this, okay? And then what I'm also going to draw is this and this and this, and we'll just draw this as well, right? And then what I'm also going to draw is this and this, right? And then I'm going to just, I didn't mean to do that, fuck. So this is going to seem weird, but just, I promise this will make sense. So this is how I look at offers in visual form, right? So your offer consists of, in my opinion, 4 things, right? Thing number 1 here is the goal. Your business serves the purpose of helping people achieve a goal. What you want to do is set a minimum standard for what you can actually achieve someone. Like what can you actually achieve for someone? And you set that as the goal of the offer. So, for example, I could say that my coaching business, the minimum goal I help everyone achieve that works with me is adding an extra $20,000 in new monthly revenue in 6 months. So your offer has to encapsulate an outcome. If you really want to know what you're offering with your business, you're offering an outcome. You're offering a future state perceived by someone that is much more comfortable and pleasurable than the current one they're in right now. That is what you are offering. Your business serves as a vehicle. So every human being has their current situation, and this is where they are, and it could be with no money, right? And then every human being also has their desired situation, which is, it's represented by, height. Ironically, you're going from lower to higher, but they have a desired situation, which could be a certain amount of money they're making per month. You have this for your fitness, you have it for your relationship, you have it for everything. but we're going to use finance because it's easy. So people have their desired situation in their desired situation up here and their current situation down here. There's obviously a gap, right? And typically here they're quite sad. Typically here they'd be very happy. So what you're really selling is the transfer of emotion from sad to happy. Or if you actually look at it from a Freudian perspective, you're selling the transfer from pain to pleasure. That is what your business does. Successful businesses transcend the gap between people's current situation, which creates pain, and a desired situation that creates pleasure. Okay? The irony is that the desired situation becomes the current, which creates pain, and another one is created. The only way a current situation can be painful is if someone perceives a desired situation. So I'm not going to get into this too much, maybe another day, but the point is that in between current and desired, there is a gap, right? And your business must be the thing that helps people bridge this gap. So what I'm going to show you here is how this links in. So the star up here, right, that we see, the star is the goal. And this is what someone wants to achieve, or it could be a component that helps people to achieve their desired outcome. So for example, let's say that someone is really unhealthy and really unfit, and they're weighing like 200 kilograms for the sake of extremes, and they want to come down to weighing 80 kilograms so they can be healthier. You might not be able to help them get there in full, but maybe they recognize that part of their transformation requires them to have healthy eating habits. And so the goal that you set for them, right, the sort of micro desired situation is I will get you in a place where you're eating healthily and you do not break into bad habits of unhealthy eating. And that's like a micro transcendence, right? Because it's a component of someone losing weight, but you can offer things within things. So for example, like maybe you run an appointment setting business. You can't control people's sales process, but you can control how many appointments they get. And so if someone wants to grow their business from 10 grand a month to 100 grand a month, they need appointments to do that, but appointments don't necessarily mean revenue, but you can't control the revenue. So you can help them transcend a specific situation to a specific part of their life or business that contributes to the overall thing they're trying to achieve, right? So what I'm looking at here is the goal. The goal is the promise, right? This is the outcome, right? So it's synonymous with promise or outcome, right? What do you get as a result of working with me? And I'm not talking about you get the latest copy and you get the coolest funnels and I'm going to give you my sales script and I'm going to teach you how to do this. No. What comes as a result of you giving people the things you give them? What change in their life is actually seen? People's lives don't change because they get a piece of copy. People's lives change because of what happens when they get that piece of copy, right? So the goal is it's the promise, it's the outcome, it's the end result, right? And so we always start with the goal or the outcome. The second component of the offer, right? This is number one. The second component of the offer is the steps, right? So this is obviously metaphorically visualized by a staircase. And the steps is what you'll notice here between current situation, desired situation is the arrow goes upwards. And if we want to go upwards, we need to climb, right? So we can sort of almost put the arrow to look like this in a step format to make it a little bit cleaner and more metaphorically applicable. So we need to sell steps, right? So we are selling the goal ultimately. But the step, this is where you need to make it really fucking tangible, right? What are the steps that you're going to, if you run a done-for-you solution, right? What are the exact things you're going to put into motion in the linear fashion, the linear order that's going to get people to get to the goal? So if the goal is, I'm going to add 20K a month to your business, what are the steps you're going to follow to do that? Because for someone to believe a goal is possible and achievable, for them to believe that you can actually do something for them, you need to demonstrate that you actually have a clear-cut roadmap or methodology to get them there. People do not believe in tangible grey stuff. They believe what they can see, right? You know that saying like, I'll believe a ghost. Like if I don't believe in ghosts because I've never seen them. If you go to a business and you make them a massive promise, but don't show them how you're getting them that promise, then you're like a ghost. They're not going to believe it because they haven't seen it, right? So you need to have a step-by-step process. It needs to actually be like tangible. Like we're going to do this, then this, then this, then this. If it's done for you, you can say, I'm doing this for you. If you're coaching them, you say, this is what we start with. And once we've done this, it's this and this and this, right? So, for example, I'll walk you through this, right? So this is an offer that I'm working on for my coaching business. It's not finalized, right? But I'm playing around with some new offers at the moment. this is not, for the record, if you're watching this, you plan on buying Imperium, this is not our offer. This is not, we might not roll this out. I'm just playing around with different wordings and being quite bold and seeing how it makes me feel, walking it through the team. This is not what we offer or necessarily intend to. So I don't want you to set your expectations incorrectly if you plan on buying our stuff. This is just purely a sandbox thing for this video, right? So let's say that this is what I want to do with Imperium, but whether or not we're going to do this, we might take a different channel. So my offer could be, we legally vow to add $20,000 in new monthly revenue to your business in 180 days with our profusely apologetic, legally binding guarantee. If you don't add $20K a month in new monthly revenue, we'll refund all your money, wire transfer you $5,000, and give you $5,800 worth of coaching over 6 months to say sorry, right? So the offer is, this is the goal, right? So $20,000, in new monthly revenue is the outcome. It's the promise. Like when you work with us for 6 months, you get 20 grand a month in new monthly revenue, right? And then what we've got here are terms. So the terms are the steps, right? So you see, we actually have to have number 2, which is the steps. And I've actually laid out the steps because I know that, knowing what I know, if someone followed our systems and program and they did all of this stuff for 180 days, they'd add at least 20 grand, probably more than that, like 50, right? So I have terms. And terms can be replaced with steps, right? So if you watch all the mindset and foundations content, if you join 12 Q&A calls, if you conduct all the sales calls with our process and build your offer as per our instructions, you've got an infrastructure for foundations, right? For outbound infrastructure, if you send 200 of our Terminator looms, make 200 cold calls a day with our script using VAs, of course, we wouldn't expect you to do this. If you send 100 loomless automated emails, and if you send 50 cold messages per day, then you've hit this. These are the steps. I'm just giving you tangible things to do. It's like, you'll get 20 grand a month if you do this as we tell you to do it, right? And then inbound infrastructure is the following. Produce 2 video content pieces a week, 3 to 4 social marketing posts a week, building your audience, adding 50 people a day, sending 1 newsletter per week, starting and building a Facebook group. So what I'm doing here is telling people what to do. So the steps is it's the secret. This is what if you do this, then you will, get the goal and get the outcome. But you have to do it how we tell you to do it, because if you do it yourself, you're going to fuck it up, right? So the offer is it consists of multiple things. So you've got number 2, which is the steps, which is the things that you have to do, or the things that I'm doing for you in order for you to accomplish this goal. If you climb these steps, you will get to this point, and then you'll have what you want. But then what we have over here with my awful drawings are tools, right? So tools / instructions, right? So what I'm now doing is, this is the part where it says we will, right? So for example, 1 step, right, is for someone to conduct all the sales calls with our process. And the tool, right, for someone to conduct this, they actually need to have our process. So we'll provide you with a full sales system. Or another step would be post 3 to 4 social content marketing posts per week. If you do that, you get the right result. But if you don't do it, if you do it without us, you'll do it wrong. So we'll give you the templates and the frameworks, right? So everywhere it says we will, these are the tools or instructions. So the things that we do to craft these steps in the way that gets them what they want. Because I'm telling you now, if you look at this and just try to do it yourself without not necessarily our guidance, we're not the be all end all, although I think we probably will be at some point. But my point is that I could tell you to do all this stuff, but if you don't know how to do looms properly, if your cold calling is awful, if your cold messages suck, if your videos suck, if you don't know how to do content, if you don't know how to build an audience and build a newsletter, and you haven't got any clue how to build a Facebook group, you can try, but you won't do it properly, right? So my point here is you have the steps which make it tangible, so you can see what you need to do to achieve your goal, but then you can't, this is the key thing to the offer, you can't build those steps and take them without our help, right? So if anything, do you know what actually probably makes more sense to draw here, right? If anything, this is like a guardrail, right? So when you're walking up some steps or something, and there's a guardrail, that's basically what we have here, right? Sorry, I had to pause my loom there. So what you want to do is imagine that the tools or instructions, these are like a guardrail, right? So you can help people, you can give people the steps, but if they don't have a guardrail to hold on to, then they're going to fall, right? Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because here's the bottom weird thing at the bottom. So this is a trampoline, right? Or a net, whatever you want to call it. But I want to use the word trampoline because trampoline is fucking sick, right? The trampoline is your risk reversal, right? Risk reversal. So this is basically, people need to know, right? In order for your offer to be complete and to be attractive, people need to know what you're helping them achieve, right? What's the outcome of working with you? Well, the end result, right? What steps are you going to help them take? Or what steps do they need to take to achieve that? Or what steps are you going to take to achieve that? And what do you do to make sure, like, what guardrail do you have to make sure that they're taking the right steps and they don't fall off, right? Now, the fourth thing and the final thing is the risk reversal. So what you need to do is tell someone, look, if you don't hit this goal, if you climb these steps and you don't hit the goal, or you're climbing these steps and you fall off, then you're going to land safely, right? So this trampoline represents risk reversal. So if someone lands on this and like they let's say they don't hit the goal and they get to the top and then like they realize that after all this work it didn't work, then they fall and they land on the trampoline. Because if you take the trampoline away and they land on the hard ground, like people, there's a cognitive bias called the zero risk bias, and it states that people love to minimize risk, right? So it makes sense, if you want to build your offer in alignment with human nature and the objective reality of the world, you need to have a really fucking good guarantee. So risk reversal is guarantee, right? It's guarantee, it's pay on results. It's like, if someone falls, is it painful? Or is it a little bit painful? Does it sting? Or not? What I like to do, and what I've been contemplating, once again, if you want to buy Imperium, this is not what we're doing right now. We may not be doing this in the future. It's just an intangible example, right? What I like to do is make this fall as pleasurable as possible. So what I actually have here, right, as you can see, for our guarantee, is if you don't add 20k a month in new monthly revenue, we will refund all of your money. Right? So that first of all takes away a lot of the pain, because you land on the trampoline, but it's still pretty painful because you've wasted all this time. Wire transfer you $5,000 and give you $5,800 worth of coaching for 6 months for free to say sorry. So if with Imperium, and this, like I said, this may not be what we do. It's an example for the video, right? But if someone falls, right, on the trampoline, there's no damage at all. They're going to love it. They're going to love failing to some degree. You don't want to necessarily incentivize for failure, but that was a poor example, but you get my point. So if someone fails, not only do they get a full refund, right, which alleviates a lot of the pain, but then they also net $5,000, right? And on top of that, they get $5,800 of coaching for 6 months for free. So it's kind of like, you have to basically make sure with this, by the way, that the goal is far more attractive than the downside. But otherwise, people will just be incentivized to ask you to make it, to purposely make it not work. But that's why you need to have extremely tangible terms, because I know if people did this, they'd get the result, right? So my point here is that your offer consists of these 4 things. Or this is I might be wrong, there might be more things to this, but this is how I see it in its raw sort of first principles. And this is where I reason up from when I'm building offers. So you start with the goal, which is the outcome, it's the promise. It's what do people actually bloody get for working with you? So what's the end goal? And then you have the steps, right? Which is, exactly how does someone climb to achieve that goal? And what, in a linear fashion, step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this, step 4, do this. And then on top of that, you need to put a guardrail in place so they have your hand to hold as they're building these steps. If you're doing a coaching business, you have a guardrail. If it's a done for you business, you're actually building the steps for them, right? And they just do the climbing. They do the easy part. You build it and they just walk up the steps. If it's a coaching thing, you build it with them, right? So you have the tools and instructions, or, this could be knowledge, it could be software, whatever that might be. And then at the bottom here, below the steps, right? Below the chasm, which you could, call it here. Because ultimately, like, when someone works with you, they're taking a risk. It's like over here, they're on flat ground, and over here, they're on flat ground. But between here and here, there's a long way to fall, which means they may be worse off than they currently were before they were with you. So the problem with, like, if you don't have a guarantee or risk reversal, is people perceive a risk, because it's like, if they're here on solid ground, but they could be here on solid ground, to traverse this gap means they need to be walking on very, fragile steps, depending on how good you are. And if these steps fall through, they're going to fall to a place that was worse than their initial current situation. And that's why people don't buy from you, right? So you have to think, like, how can I put a trampoline here to bounce them back up and soften the blow to make sure that they at least go back to where they were when they started, or they're a little bit further ahead, right? Which is what we obviously are maybe implementing, right? Once again, if you plan on buying Imperium, this is not our offer. This may not be our offer. I don't know, right? It's just an idea. It's a sandbox. That is how I build offers, right? And if you want to know how to do it, you just have to follow this process. It's a model, it's a framework. Take it with a pinch of salt, apply your own knowledge to it. And yeah. By the way, if you are really struggling to acquire clients and you can't for the life of you figure out how to book appointments and close deals, just click the first link in the description. It will take you through to a funnel. It's a fucking funnel, right? I'm going to try and sell you something. This is a YouTube video. I've given you value. Now I'm going to ask you for something in return. It's how the world works, right? And I'd rather be transparent with my intentions here instead of just saying, oh, I've got a webinar to send you to. Like, fuck that. You know what that's like, right? I've got no case study funnel or bullshit free training or any crap. There's no ebooks here. It's just a video, right? So anyway, long story short, if you want more clients and you're struggling to acquire them, click the first link below. I don't really mind if you do or not, but if you choose to, by all means, it might be nice for you. By the way, we're fully booked on calendars right now. If I check out our discovery call, you'll basically go through to this. And unfortunately, at present, we don't have a huge amount of availability. We've got a couple of times, a few at the moment. So if you try and schedule and there's no times, we're fully booked across 3 reps. So you might need to check again tomorrow or the next day, which sucks, but it's kind of how it is at the moment, which is good. That's what happens when you get the offer thing right, okay? But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, because when you subscribe, it motivates me to make more content that might be valuable to you, so it's really cool. And you can like the video if you enjoyed it, and also I read all the comments, so you can comment anything below. You can tell me you hate me if you want. Tell me this is the worst idea you've ever seen, because I always take feedback. I'd like to know why. But yeah, I hope you found this helpful, and I love you for subscribing if you subscribe. Even then, if you don't, I love you for watching to the end, because most people don't have the attention span for a 20-minute video. Talk to you later. Have a wonderful day. Ciao. Mwah.